Yeah, 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 yeah. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead. I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head. I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. Left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't tryna trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my ground. Have a little faith and go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm alright every day, 'cause I want everything. I can do anything. Check my resume. It's people against you. They see what you've been through. But look in the mirror, tap into your spirit. It's power within you. Like LinkedIn, I'm locked in, get the job done when I clock in. I weighed out my options, put the work in, that's action, no lacking, just stacking. Big dreams I'm attracting, no accidents, that's fate. Just go in and have a little faith. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead, I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head, I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't tryna trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my ground, yeah. Have a little faith and go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, now go nuts, go nuts, go nuts, go nuts, go nuts, go nuts, donuts, 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 donuts.
Hey there, I'm Trevor Houston, the creator of the Who You Know Summit, and I'd like to welcome you to the Who You Know Job Networking Show.
On our program, we'd like to show you a job search like you've never seen.
Everything from getting noticed by employers, how to properly format your resume, and how to network effectively using LinkedIn to drive recruiters to your profile.
We even take suggestions from our amazing community.
So if you want to learn all things job search, go ahead and subscribe now.
Focus! It's all about the job search. So if you want to learn how to land that next success, you heard them. All you got to do is subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on a thing. Welcome to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who you know that you know makes a difference.
Oh man, let me just tell y'all who I know. I got Foster Williams.
I'm back.
Who you know?
Who y'all know?
Foster is back in the building, y'all. Okay.
I'm living. I lived. I survived. I made it.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, so we just got to talk real briefly. I want to, kind of dig into what's going on in Foster's world, and then we're actually gonna dedicate a show to Foster in your honor, man. We seriously, man, I love you so much, and I'm so excited that you're back with us. And it's been rough without you, And yeah, man, we thought we were going to lose you, man. So I love you, and I'm just so glad you're back.
Well, I love you guys. So, what goes around comes around. So
Yeah.
I love you guys. You guys love me back. So now I'm back. And, hey, we're here to help everybody get a job.
Yes,
And
sir.
so that's what this show's all about.
Well, for those of you that are just tuning in and you're thinking, what is going on? Foster has had one hell of a journey.
Ooh, man.
You've been to hell and back,
It's been pretty good.
right? You had COVID.
Yeah.
And got
Pneumonia from the COVID.
pneumonia.
Kicked the COVID out real quick. Dealing with the pneumonia right now as we speak. But, hey, you keep going. I have friend Stephanie mention that.
Yeah, she did. She did kind of say that a little bit earlier today, too. All right, well, let's do this real quick. Let's see who we got tuning in with us. Let's give some shout-outs. I see Mark Elder online with us, and y'all are probably wondering.
Mark is not with us.
You're like,
today.
what's wrong with
It's
Mark?
a rarity.
Well, Mark's sick.
I didn't give it to y'all. I didn't do it. He didn't get it from me. He didn't get it from me.
Like, something's going on. I don't know what's in the water, but people are getting sick. I just got over being sick, and now Mark's sick. And anyway, so Mark, get better as well.
John Allen Rabelais with us, and he landed a job.
Yes, he did. Cash flow, congrats.
Cash flow.
You let that one out of the bag early.
Cash flow. Let me get my gun.
Yes, you let that one out of the bag early.
Right.
But congratulations, John. We got Sandra Thomas. We got Meg Rose in the house. Lane Peeler. We got Hope Mengita.
Jim Ballard's with us.
Who else?
Jim Ballard.
Jim Ballard.
Jim
Yolanda
said he's
Chin.
sick of Andy Dalton.
Mike Mediterranean. Good to see you.
Mike
Paul Haggerty.
Mediterranean.
Eric Kishner. Good to see you.
There's Sebastian. There he is. Oh,
Do
my
me a
God.
favor, everybody. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Yeah.
You get people from all over the place. I want to know, first of all, where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time, also let us know that. You can
You
just
folks
put,
in Montreal, let us know.
yeah, you can put hashtag first time. Also, I want to know what you are doing here, right? Literally tell me, are you searching? Right? If you're searching, I want to put a hashtag like IT, project management, QA, accounting and finance. What do you do?
Yeah.
Put that in the chat.
We got a lot of recruiters that are looking at this show.
Absolutely. And then if you're a recruiter, maybe you're here and you're hiring. I want to know if you're hiring, put hashtag no hiring. If you're a coach or somebody that's supporting the network, let us know too. So identify yourself, okay? This is the Who You Know Job Networking Show,
Put
and that's what it's
yourself
all
on
about.
blast.
Yes. All right, so before we do anything, we always like to bless this show with a prayer.
Absolutely.
So Foster, you're back with us.
I'm back.
We've been praying for you.
Yeah.
So now I need you to do the honor and pray for us.
Let's pray. What we're going to pray for you, let's see, maybe a job. No, we're going to pray for the right job, the career opportunity. So let's do that, y'all. Bow with me. Father God, we want a job. We're here to learn the things that we need to learn in order to get that job. Along the way, we want to build those relationships, that number one word that you gave me beside barbecue. And we want to build those relationships so that we can find out what we're plugging ourselves into. It's a wild, wild world out there, and we want you to help us get to the right place because many, many of us are supporting families. When we make a decision to go to work for a company, it's not just us. There's a lot more people that are involved. We ask you all these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
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 And we have so much to be thankful for and grateful for. So number one, thankful for Foster. He's back with us today, and I'm super grateful.
I'm glad I can be. Man, it got close. It was, ooh.
Well, I mean, seriously, I thought, I didn't think we were going to see you again.
That wouldn't have been cool.
And then there was also, like, we lost our pastor, Pastor Ricky Tejada, to the exact same thing you were going through. So literally.
He was right down the hall from me.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
2,
oh, my gosh.
3 doors down.
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm just super.
And I didn't know until I had gone home.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know, our prayers and thoughts go to his family, and yeah. But we do have a lot to be grateful for. I'm grateful that you're here.
Yeah.
You're with us. The job seekers have a lot to be grateful for and thankful for. And guess what? We have some landings. We have people that are now back to their cash flow. All right. We've got some people to celebrate today. Let's give a warm round of applause. Get your donut emojis ready down there in the chat. And their cash flow for Angela Childers. Angela, congratulations. We got James Ballett. James.
Jim, are you what?
Yes, sir. You let the cat out of the bag, but we're going to celebrate it again. Yeah. John Allen.
John Allen Revelay. That's right.
Woo! We got Douglas Bernal. Congratulations. Yvonne Rentemeister. Woo!
I gotta pronounce it because Trevor doesn't do real good with.
Yeah, no, I'm not good with names. Foster, this for you.
That's mine. That's yours.
Woo! Cash flow.
Yvonne is my soccer friend, and she's in California, and it's awesome. Hey, Yvonne, hope you're with us.
Well, I'm just super excited. Each and every one of you are back to where you're supposed to be. You're back to your cash flow.
Let's get back to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's what I want you to know. Okay, here's my tip of the week. All right. This actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Stephanie, our guest, who's coming on in here in just a second.
Oh yeah.
She kind of gave me this thought, but.
Keep
guys,
going, Stephanie.
A lot of times, okay, the tip of the week is just keep going. And the reason why just keep going, a lot of times is we are 3 feet from gold.
Uh-huh.
All right? Think about that for a second.
We're almost there, and then we quit.
And then you quit, right? So you're digging, you're trying to mine that gold, you're digging. And right before you get to it, 3 feet from gold, you quit, right? You stop, you give up. Don't give up. Keep going. It's right around the corner. It's 3 feet away. It's right around. Guys, you are one conversation. You are literally one conversation away from that next career, that next best success, your cash flow, your sanity, your everything, right? Your livelihood. You're one conversation away. And the key is figuring out how to get that conversation and figuring out how to close the deal, okay? That is super important, and that's why I'm super excited about our guest that we have coming on here shortly, because she's going to teach you, okay, not only how to get through this system, okay, this job search system. She's going to teach you how to get through, and then we got some tips and tricks on how to close that deal, how to negotiate to get a little bit more of this, right?
It's a gauntlet, yep.
Yeah, maybe I want a little more. They gave me some, but it wasn't enough.
That's happening. Some dynamics right now.
Yeah.
We talked about it in HR today.
Yep.
There are companies are raising, guys. They're raising our money. Believe it or not, for a number of reasons that we don't have time to go through right now because we got to talk to Stephanie.
Yeah. Well, they do. These companies are. They're they're reevaluating everything, guys. I just want you to know, COVID changed everything. Changed the world.
Oh, my
and it
God.
changed hiring. It changed, salaries. It changed everything. So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And you need to use that as a tool. You have to think about that. It is your opportunity to maybe negotiate a little more. Maybe get you a little more of this. You know what I'm saying? Put in your pocket. So, guys. That's my tip of the week. Keep going. You're 3 feet away from gold. You're 3 feet away. Just keep going. We got to go to a real quick commercial break.
Right.
But do not go anywhere. Because when we come back, we got Stefanie Dean in the house, and I promise you, she's going to help you to shred.
Stephanie is money.
She is money. She's going to help you shred that resume and get back to your gold, get back to your cash flow. All right? We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Trevor Houston here, and if you're looking for connections to opportunities, free seminars and workshops, to the knowledge and tools you need, and individualized one-on-one coaching for solid plans and solutions, Career and Financial Services is here for you with a holistic approach to educate, empower, and guide you to achieve your desired future. Call today to learn more about how the coaches can assist you to reach your career and financial success.
is out there and you're a realtor or you are looking to get your real estate license, it's a very low-cost entry, $300 to take your real estate course online. Inexpensive compared to like a college. EXP is $150 to join, and it's like $84 a month. So relatively speaking, these are very inexpensive costs. If you are interested in that and you want to work with me as a realtor, I'd love to have you join my team, and you want to hear about the model, then go to join10xempire.com, and I do this opportunity call every Tuesday. Would love to answer your questions and tell you more about what I'm doing. If anyone out there is interested in working with me.
Is your competition creating video? If so, they may be carving out an advantage over you in your market share. Video is about exposure. If you don't have any, you aren't getting seen. Good news, Video Marketing World Conference is back in person. Join us this year and make friends, collaborate, and walk away with a plan for taking your marketing to the next level with video. Come to Video Marketing World and learn tactical strategy for creating content that grows your business.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who
yeah,
you know?
Who you know?
Who do you know?
Who do you know?
Right.
Well, let me tell you who I know.
Who you know?
I know this lady, okay? I know this wonderful special person who's going to help you to shred that ugly resume. We know Stefanie Dean. She's the CEO of Solar Plexus Consulting.
I love that.
And the Bad Resume Shredder. She helps people shred their bad resumes and ineffective job search strategies. So if everybody can give me a warm who you know welcome for Stefanie. Hey.
Hey guys.
How you doing?
Hey, Stefanie.
Doing awesome. How are you guys doing?
You know how we do over
Doing
here.
good. It's nice weather here in Texas. It's like only 82 degrees.
Yes.
Only.
All right, so I want to just dive into this thing. Let's rock, let's roll, let's get these folks back to their cash flow, all right? So first and foremost, I do want to kind of know a little bit about how you started your journey serving job seekers. Where did that come from?
Well, it definitely happened unintentionally. I started getting good at this back in 2007 because I was trying to help myself. And what ended up happening was my friends were like, oh, I see that you're getting results. Can you help me? And then it just turned into helping more and more and more people. And so this has been going on in the background for years.
Yeah, we've heard that, before, that typically it starts off with people just kind of asking you the most frequently asked questions and asking for your help. Yep. And you're like, you know what? Shoot. When did you decide to put create a business around it?
When my friend pushed me into it this past January.
Oh, okay. You're like, okay, you need to get paid on that.
You were sitting on a big
he literally
desk.
pushed me. He didn't give me a choice.
All right. Well, let's dive into some of these tips, okay? Because we want to really help the job seekers to figure out, the ATS and resumes and effective resumes, okay? So what do you think is the most, common technical blind spot that job seekers are not really aware of when it comes to this stuff?
So I would say two things, data parsing and file complexity. A lot of people know about keywording already. So, putting all those keywords in is a great first step, but you have to understand that the computer also has to data parse out that information. And if your file is overly complex, those things are also technical things that you need to be thinking about in addition to keywording.
All right, so break it down in layman's terms for me, okay? So data parsing, you're talking about separating the info. It's got to be like what? Talk to me like I don't know what to do here. I got this resume. What do you mean data? What?
Data parsing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get her to tell me. What am I doing? What does that mean?
So very simply, data parsing is when the computer is pulling out information. And so it's looking for your contact information, summary, professional experience, education. And so if you have any other language in there, if your text is different from what the computer wants, if it's not in the right format, if you've got boxes and shapes and tables and just all this stuff, it's not going to be able to parse it right.
Okay.
So it's your objective to make sure that when that file goes through, it's able to pull out that information easily.
Got it. Well, let me ask you this. So it's separating the data. Now, do all systems separate that data and pull it out the same?
or is, because there's a lot of different ATS systems out there. So do they all work the same as far as the way they separate that data? Or is that there's a lot of different systems and they do it differently?
For the most part, they all operate very much the same. So as long as you have a file that is done the correct way, then that file should be able to be parsed out no matter the company.
All right. Okay, good. So there are some commonalities in these systems. What do you think applicants can do to make sure they don't have disadvantages when it comes to these ATS systems? What are some, what do you think they should do?
So very simply, just get the right file, because a lot of people end up throwing out garbage resumes and they just get frustrated because, it's not working. Well, that would challenge you to consider, if it's not working, then consider the file that you're putting out there.
Okay. So what do you mean by get the right file? Are you talking about the right format? Like, is it a Word document, or because I've heard people saying, okay, I'm sending in Word, I'm sending in PDF, I'm sending in like different formats. So are you talking about the right format of file, or what do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, so the right format, so the type of file matters, what's in the file matters, the font, text, the sizing, the shapes that are in there, just everything that's within that file, all that stuff matters.
Got it. Okay.
Hey, Stephanie, do all companies have an ATS? Do they all use ATS?
I would say for the most part, a lot of companies do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume if you aren't able to tell if they're using ATS, just assume that they are. Assume the worst, because it's better to have a really aggressive file that is going to work versus being like, oh, well, I don't think they're using ATS, and then find out it's going to get rejected anyway.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. So when we keep talking about the file, right? We keep talking about the file. So again, there's a lot of different formats. Does it just depend on what the system requires, or is there typically hey, we want it in Word format, or do they have to do it? Is there different ways to do it? Because I've heard people doing it, with, like I said, with PDFs and different things like that. Or is there a recommended way of doing it, a file?
I would say the most simple advice is just the leaner the file, the better. The simpler it is, the better.
Right.
So if you look at the properties of the file and see how big it is, and that'll tell you how complex it is.
Got it. Okay. But I guess what I was asking is Word, PDF, what?
I would say Word in general is going to be less complex.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I've heard that too, that Word is a better format than PDF and some of the others. All right. So, okay. Here's my kind of battle with the resumes, right? And I want to hear from you. I want you to kind of tell me your input and your stance on it. My input is that, all right, there is no perfect resume, because, well, let's put it this way: the perfect resume is the one that gets seen, right? And if it's not getting seen, then it doesn't matter what you have on the paper, right? You might as well throw it away. And there's so many different ATS systems out there, and the way that they do it is so different that it's almost like trying to crack the code. But I want you to tell me your perspective. I'm sure that there are things that you can do, like best practices, right? Like best practices, but you're not really going to crack the code, right? I hear everybody talk about ATS compliant resumes. Does that just mean hey, you want to do these certain things just to make sure these are the best practices? But even if you do those best practices, that doesn't mean it's getting through.
Absolutely. And nothing is a guarantee. So there should be no expectation around perfection.
Got it.
So I'm very big on have a good baseline resume that's going to be a good, level set, but be really good about your application strategy, which is kind of, the thing that comes after having the good resume.
Got it.
Which then would include leveraging your network, applying, strategizing, diversifying, mic drop.
Yeah, there
right?
It's
not just about the resume, because you can have a good resume, but it won't matter if it's not in front of the right people.
Right. If it's sitting in the black hole and no one's looked at it, then it's really no good. But I guess, okay, so here's I'm a big advocate, obviously, of the networking side of things. I think that people spend way too much time thinking that the resume is the issue, right? That the resume
they do.
is the problem. This is the reason why I'm not getting hired. And I want to combat that and say, it's not necessarily this. Yeah, we can change it. You're using best practices. We can probably format it better, get it in a better position to help your percentage of getting through that ATS. Mm-hmm. But most likely it's still going to get blocked anyways, right? And you got to use your network. And if you can get your network to pull it out, the humans can override the computers, right? A human, because what happens is a lot of times
that's where that relationship comes in there, doesn't it?
There it is. A lot of times people get those canned emails, right? They get the canned email that says thanks but no thanks. But if you get a human can override that. They'll pull it out and they'll look at it and go, okay, bring them in, right? So let's talk about some of that. Now let's get to communication.
How long should a resume be? I mean, how far should we go back on our resumes, Stephanie?
Well, it depends on what you're applying for. So always think in terms of relevancy. If you're applying for something that's like project management and you have experience that might be a little bit more dated, but it's relevant, you should
relevant.
You know what I mean? So it's very situational. There's no cookie cutter answer to that. It's just, you have to think, does this make sense? Should I include it, for what I'm going for?
Yeah, because if you're going for like a senior level executive role, we don't care that you worked at McDonald's when you were 18.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, relevance,
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great example. Like, I don't care you worked at McDonald's when you were 18. Like, there's things that you can leave off, right?
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people fall into that trap because they think, oh, well, I've had these jobs that were 10 plus years ago, and I definitely need to include it. And you've got these people who have 5-page resumes, and people need to understand HR doesn't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody has time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Another mic drop.
Mic drop.
Another mic drop.
So, Stephanie, how long would you say the average recruiter spends looking at a resume?
I mean, I would confidently say probably under 15 seconds, which
Easily.
is why I say a one-page resume, because you only have that amount of time to effectively communicate in one page. Why are you a good fit for this role?
It's just a dang shame that so much weight is put on this stupid piece of paper. I hate the way the system works. Job seekers, I want you to know I empathize for you. I absolutely do. I hate it. And that's why my mission and my goal is to put the human element back in the job search. This is killing us. The ATS, the system, the way they do it nowadays, there used to walk in with your resume, right?
When I first started recruiting, oh my God.
Right? And you would have the human element. You may even get an interview on the spot, but this doesn't work that way anymore.
Now we got the advent of all this technologies and all this stuff, and it has to, job search has to be so rifle focused, We've got to get that human element in there. We got to get those relationships helping us. If we know somebody in the company, hey, maybe they can tell somebody something.
Yeah, absolutely. What about that, Stephanie? Talk to me about, do you teach any strategies or anything to help people get it noticed, to get their resume seen? Like, what are some things that people can do to combat, other than, formulating words and, keywords and stuff like that? What are some other ways to get this thing noticed by people?
So I'll say the perfect storm to that is really get that technical side figured out, and then combine that with your network. That's going to be your strongest leverage together.
Okay. All right.
So knowing people is, yes, very important, but if you also know how to get through the systems, then that put together, and then just like be really good about throwing out as many applications as you can, talking to as many people as you can, and really, really going at scale, putting out those applications, then that will return results.
As a recruiter, I'm not, I'm looking for that relevance. Give me something on that resume that will make me want to call you and talk to you a little bit more about what's going on here, because it looks like on this piece of paper that you've been in that element that I'm looking to hire for. So let's talk about it. But it's got to be on that resume. Honestly, I don't care if I don't want to see no resume that's more than 3 or 4 pages.
Oh, no.
But I've got to see what I'm looking for in order to spur me to want to give you a call and talk and give you an opportunity to tell me what it is you want me to know about the relevance of that opportunity.
let's talk now about interviewing. Okay, let's say you help them formulate their resume. You get it out of the, or you shred the old one. You put the old one in the trash, right? That's your kind of your tagline.
Can't get a job in the trash can.
You're the bad resume shredder. Okay, so we're gonna shred their bad ones, right? And then we're gonna network effectively to get eyeballs on it, and then we got that interview. So now, why do you think people aren't landing offers? Why do you think people are getting ghosted after they get their interviews? They finally get one and then they get ghosted. Why do you think that's happening?
Well, I will start by saying that this is an art of communication. So if you were able to get your resume through the system, that means that you were successfully able to communicate in writing. So that was the first step. But you get into the interview, and if you don't know how to communicate verbally, which includes presenting yourself in a confident way, being able to speak to, not just the skills that you have, but being able to just communicate with people. People get so nervous and they're like, and that shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Fear will creep into your interviews real quick.
Yeah, when you get through that system and Mr. Recruiter, Mr. Foster wants to talk to you and calls you on the phone, you're already in an advantage. So I totally understand what Stephanie's talking about is communicate that thing. Communicate that thing that we are here to talk about.
Confidence, too.
Ooh, man.
Woo, you need to go in there and be confident. Yeah, absolutely. I tell people $10 million mindset. If you had $10 million and you were working because you wanted to work, not because you had to work, what kind of questions would you ask in your interview? Like how much different would they be? In your interview, you would be very specific and very selective about who you went to work for because you don't have to work. That's the type of mindset you need to carry, not a scarcity mindset. What the scarcity mindset is, I'm on my last dollar, and if I don't get this job, I'm gonna die. Right? And if I don't get and you go in there and you're like holding on to that last dollar, and you're like, I need this job, right? And they don't want to hire that. People don't want to hire that. So there's a difference between abundance mindset and scarcity mindset. All right, let's talk about negotiation, though, because this is important. It's crucial, and we need to help them get more of this. Got to get some more. Okay, so I got the offer. Yay, congratulations. What now? How do I get a little more, a little extra?
So you'd be surprised to see how many people, they nail the interview and they're just so excited, but then their confidence just plummets as soon as they get into that negotiation conversation. Simply because they're like, well, I don't want to lose the opportunity, or I don't know what to ask, or, all these excuses. And I'm just like, wait, you just landed this. And, job seekers need to understand that companies expect you to negotiate. So if you're walking in there and you're like, I'm just going to accept it, then guess what? You just lost.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
That's a good mic drop. That's money right there.
That's money drop.
That's money.
Are there specific things that job seekers should be thinking about in their negotiation? Like, what should they be negotiating? Is it just cash, or what are we talking about here?
So I want to make a very clear distinction between base salary, which is a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to be negotiating the base and that's it. Guys, this is total compensation.
Right.
And what that means is a holistic compensation package that includes investment options, time off options, work flexibility options, promotion potential, all kinds of things. And I'll say the investment potential with your investment options could be very lucrative if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
Mm-hmm. You know who was it that we had on? Sandy.
Oh yeah.
Sandy.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Her name's Sandy.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't think of her
last name.
CHRO,
Sandra.
Yeah. I can't. Knight.
Sandy Knight. That's right.
She came on the show and hit me with a real good mic drop. She talked about negotiating your severance in advance. So think about it. Normally, to get severance, you have to accrue it, right? And in your package, you have to been there so much time. You've been there 20 years, they're going to give you a nice package on the way out, right? But what if you could negotiate? Because, look, these companies they're churning and burning
each other out. Oh my goodness,
they're churning and burning. What if you could negotiate your severance in advance? That basically say, hey, if you cut me, Like, you cut me, you fire me. I want my pay. I want my money on the way out. I need to make sure I'm okay on the way out. And I thought that was brilliant. So think about that too, guys. Negotiate your severance in advance. That can help you in case there's some changes with the company. It just doesn't work out. They let you go, furloughed, whatever, fired you even, get that severance.
Some companies have gone public with the fact that they're up on the chopping or to be bought. And if you know, and you get a job with a company that they're trying to sell, or they got an idea, or they're in the throes of being bought, hey, that's something to think about right there.
Amen, amen. So we've had a bunch of mic drop moments in here. Stefanie, you're dropping bombs, helping people get back to their cash flow. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. You have a really cool strategy guide, right? You have a guide to career strategies that work. You want to tell us a little bit about that guide, and then we're gonna do some things. We're gonna give some things away. What are we gonna do? So tell us about the guide first and foremost.
Oh yeah.
So the guide is a result of the fact that I just love to write. It's just something I do. And so I speak about these things, but I also write about them. And this honestly draws on 14 years of me learning. So everything that's in that guide is just my perspective of what's worked for me, what's gotten me into the jobs that I've worked for. And I'm just sharing it with you guys, or if it's able to help you, because I've been through, enough. And I know how hard it is, so if it can help me, and it did, I would love for it to help you.
Beautiful. All right, so here's the question we're going to ask the audience. Okay, so we're going to give this thing away, and I want to ask the audience a question. So what is the name of Stefanie's company? What's the name of Stefanie's company? Tell me down there in the chat, and we're going to give this thing out, okay? Also, Stefanie, I want to know, while we're waiting on those answers to come in, I want to know, what do you think is one thing or one person maybe that could really help you in your business? What do you need to take your business to the next level to help more job seekers?
I honestly just need visibility. I need more people who need me. If you know somebody who is struggling, who is just given up, or doesn't know what to do, or whatever, I'm here to help. That's my objective, is my mission, to help as many people as I can. Send them my way. Beautiful.
Love that. And we will help you with that. And I'm going to tell you, our next guest can also help you with that as well. So make sure you stay for that. The answers are coming in. So we've got Lori Oken. She says Solar Plex, trashing resumes. Love it. We got Kelly. She says Solar Plexus Consulting. We got Tanisha. So we've got the answers coming in, which I love, love, love. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. But guess what? Stefanie has been so kind, and she said she wants to give it away to everybody. Woo! You get a guide to strategies to your career. You get a guide to strategies for your career. You all get a guide. So, Stefanie, tell them how they get the guide. Where do they go to get that?
Well, it's directly on my website. So if you want to give out the link to my website, it is just www.solarplexusconsulting.com. And if you scroll down to the middle part where it says products, it's in the middle. And it says the free career guide, and you can just download it direct from there.
Love it. SolarPlexusConsulting.com. Make sure you go check that out. Scroll halfway down, get you your free guide, and let's get you back to your cash flow.
Absolutely. Stefanie, I appreciate the fact that you're out there to help. They're calling me the job father now, because I've talked to so many people and offered help, tried to help so many people get a job. And the thing about it is, job seekers, don't feel real bad. Don't feel like you're dumb or anything like that. Your job is to do your job. If you're an accountant, your job is to count money. You're not supposed to know all this stuff that Foster and Trevor and Stefanie knows, because you haven't been in that realm.
Right.
So don't feel bad about that. But the help is there. You guys connect with people like Stefanie. She can walk through it with you.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Think about that for a second. Let's say you were a football player. I'm just going to use a crazy analogy. You're a football player.
I used to be.
What you got to know about putting together a resume? What's that got to do with playing football? Nothing.
Nothing. And I'm not a resume person. I'm listening to Stephanie. In fact, I'm going to connect with Stephanie after the show and stuff.
Yes.
Because all I do is talk to people that need to be talking to you, Stephanie. So, yeah, we'll get that done.
100%. All right. So, guys, do us a big favor right now and take that screenshot, okay? Everybody get your phones, your devices out. Take that screenshot right now with Stephanie on here, and I want you to blow her up. Maybe she said she needed visibility, y'all. Y'all heard it here. She needed visibility, so you can help her out. Post that content all over social, and I want you to just tell her how much you appreciate her coming on the Who You Know show.
That's right.
All right? That's what you can do for us. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here with us today. We really, really, really appreciate you. Any last words for the audience before we cut to break?
No, just thank you for having me. And guys, keep going. Keep your confidence going. It will happen.
Amen.
It will. It will.
Guys,
Build those relationships.
We got to go to a real quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Right,
because when we come back, we got Sebastian in the house.
You have something unique to offer your next employer, whether it's your experience or your work ethic or your passion or your personality. But how do you stand out from the crowd when you're stuck sending plain text emails that lack personality, lack humanity, and worst of all, look like every other email in the inbox? Job seekers just like you are discovering how easy it is to put their humanity back into their communication and back into their job search with BombBomb Video. Visit bombbomb.com to start a free trial today and rehumanize your job search.
BombBomb.
Yo guys, David Wenkos. I just want to take a moment and say thank you to everybody over at Who You Know. This past week, I went to the Career Transition Summit, and it was absolute fire. Awesome stuff. Trevor, Mark, you guys were absolutely dropping value bombs. I got so much out of this. Things like how to get my LinkedIn set up to really support me finding that next great job. BombBomb videos, job search Trojan horse, they were amazing. And then to offer to make introductions to that massive professional network of yours, seriously, that's above and beyond. So guys, you're total rock stars. I am so glad that I went. Just gotta say thank you, and take care. We'll talk soon.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
who you know
can make all the difference in your job search.
Every week, who you know.
Guys, did you see that testimonial video? Oh my goodness. David sent me that testimonial after the summit last week, and I just blew my mind. I loved how he was telling a story with the little clicks and the motion, and he was telling look, guys, you heard it here. Listen, we're going to help you to get back to your cash flow. Come through our summit. It's super important. So what I want to know right now, if you have been to our summit, just put #summit down there in the chat.
Yeah.
If you have not, I want you to put #first-time, okay? Put #first-time, and that way I can send you an invite. We'll send you a DM with the information, and we'll show you how to get noticed. All right? So now my next guest, we're going to talk all about getting noticed. My next guest is Sebastian Rusk. He is a podcast launch specialist. Oh, yeah. He's been building online communities for the past 15 years, and he's made it his mission to help people tell their stories by starting a podcast. Everybody, warm Who You Know welcome for Sebastian Rusk. Let's go.
Yes, sir, Sebastian. Yes, sir.
Woo! You ready for this, Sebastian?
I was born ready, Trevor.
Right.
How we doing?
Man, you're doing so good, man. All right, so, guys, I want to let you know, I got introduced to Sebastian not long ago, actually, by Shay Rowbottom.
Was it Shay?
Yeah. Shay Rowbottom introduced me to Sebastian because
I'm emceeing Video Marketing World in October.
Oh, that's right. Okay? Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never emceed before a whole conference like that's kind of a big deal, and I'm kind of scared. I'm like kind of terrified about it actually. And she was like, well, let me connect you with Sebastian. Sebastian, you also MC, don't you not, right? You MCing and all that, whatnot?
I've done a couple 2-3 stages before.
Yeah. So she connected the dots and was like, let me help you with it. Sebastian will help you with this. And he's been awesome. He's been kind of coaching me through the process of MCing and getting me ready for this event so I can go crush it. But I also want to talk to you real quick, Sebastian, about getting out of our comfort zone. I want to start off with that because you're doing something today that you're terrified of, aren't you?
Well, I've always wanted to be a male stripper, so I thought it's a great.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, I am.
This is a faith-based show. This is a faith-based show. We'll have to cut him off. Cut the mic off. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You good?
Are you telling me male strippers aren't Christians? Is that? We're not going there. We're
not going there. Come on, man. You're embarrassing me here. Come on, let's go.
I have no interest in male strippers.
You were warned, okay? You were
wow.
warned. Like you gave me a hot mic. We're live here.
Oh,
so tonight I am jumping completely out of my comfort zone, and I am doing something that I have been putting off for a long time, and that is performing stand-up comedy. So I've been writing material for, gosh, it seems like 5 years now. And I did an open mic probably 4 years ago, but it doesn't count. We're scratching all that. We're starting all over again tonight. As luck would have it, total God thing, lining everything up. I connected with the guy that started the Miami comedy scene here in Miami. MiamiComedy.com is the outfit, and he's grown it literally to a new show every night of the week in this town. And with Miami being a big city, we deserve to have a comedy scene. Yet we were way behind the curve on that. So my buddy Manny's put together quite the community here, and I had him on the podcast, and he had connected with me, and he was like, dude, I had been following you for a minute. And I'm like, me? I've been following you, and I wanted to get you on the show to talk about what you're doing. So as luck would have it, we got off the interview, and he said, well, I'd love to have you on my podcast, but also why don't you come out to an open mic? You don't have to wait all night long. We'll make sure you get up at some point in the evening and give it a shot. Get up there and bomb like a man, will you? And I was like, oh, no bomb in here.
No. We're going to go back to that. Hold on. Bomb like a man. I'm going to give a mic drop to your friend. Who was your friend's name?
His name is Manny Garavito.
Manny, I'm going to give him a mic drop. Bomb like a man. If you're going to go down, if you're going to fail, go down in flames. Hey, listen, fail forward, though, okay? Fail forward.
Can you get the producer to play Blaze of Glory, Bon Jovi's Blaze of Glory?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I the reason why I bring this up is because I heard you talk about that earlier, about this story, and it's out of your comfort zone, right? You've spoke on massive stages. You've got to, MC at massive conferences, and now here's something else that's out of your comfort zone. Tell me why do you feel like you have to do it?
I just feel like there's a missing component there, with the work that I'm doing and the impact that I'm trying to make on this planet through the work that I'm actually doing. Podcasting has several different variables involved with it. The fact that podcasting found me 5 years after I had started my digital brand is kind of ironic, because I grew up in a radio station and I spent, my entire childhood cutting tracks for kids programs while my dad would go out, sell the ad, come back, and I'd cut the ads for the kid programs on the radio station in exchange for a Happy Meal. That was nice of him, wasn't it?
That was nice. That was good.
Yeah, that was great. So I was tortured with Southern gospel as a child and Happy Meals. So people ask why I'm a recovered Baptist. I think you have all the information that you need there. So I told myself I need to continue to refine my game on stage. And the best way to constantly do that is realize you are not there yet. And it is a constant work in progress. And that I tell myself every day I am the best at what I do, but I can improve every day. And there's always room for that opportunity.
You tell yourself you're the best, but you got to improve. I like that. I can
improve every day. That's right. You got to have that confidence for yourself. I don't walk around town beating that drum, but I look in the mirror every morning and say, hey, you got this, and you're really good at what you do. but you can always be better. So it's an even, so I just feel that comedy is going to be that missing component that's going to be able to play into my podcasting game, my hosting game, my MC game, and then of course my speaking, the work that I do with speaking, being able to, whenever you can not only walk a crowd through the story and bring them through the entire journey of that story, but you can make them laugh. You have them, I don't want to say eating out of the palm of your hand, but you have, somebody talked about, I was at a conference last week in San Diego. My buddy Pete Vargas talked about by the end of the talk, are they leaning forward? Because if they're leaning forward, they're listening real good. Intently, they're real interesting. If they're leaning back, they may be thinking, when does the bar open? Or I'm about to pass out. So
you know what? You bring up a really good point that I want to talk about real quick. I didn't even think about this now, but until right this second, like how important do you feel like comedy is, or some form of humor in job interviews? Do you think that plays any relevance?
It really does. It really does. I think that if you have the audacity to step up to a recruiter and interview them in a very constructive way, I think that's great. I always recommend, I haven't had a job in 17 years. Disclosure, I'm a terrible employee, so I don't know that my advice is the best. But when I was getting sales jobs, it was usually sales jobs. So I had no problem busting chops to a sales manager or director. And I would always, and they would say, Sebastian, do you have any questions? Do you have any final questions for me? And I said, actually, I do, Rick. My question is, how committed are you to the ongoing success of this company? And Rick would just sit there and look at me like I had 10 heads and boogers. I don't know if that works for the general job finding.
You do have a booger though, man.
Yeah, you got a little booger right there though. No, just kidding.
These days, but
no, but I think I think there's some importance there. I think that if you can get your interviewer to smile and laugh and get them, I think you're absolutely right. You got them eating out of the palm of your hand.
Yeah. Let them know you just got out of prison, and this is the first stab at getting it right.
Second chance, man.
I'm just like, everybody deserves a second chance. Yeah. Come on.
Wow.
And as a recruiter, I can say, look here, if you can be entertaining and you have the experience that I'm looking for, number one. But if you're entertaining, I'm going to be excited because I'm a middle person, right? I'm a middle man. If you got a lady, it's a middle lady. Then I'm going to be excited to introduce you to my hiring manager or my friend or whoever it is. But you know what? I'm going to add a little bit more value to it because I want them to have that experience that I had.
That's exactly right.
I enrolled you into the process of the interview on there, and I got you excited, and I made you laugh. And if I made you laugh now, my goodness, Trevor, could you imagine having this every single day? Let's move that resume to the top of the stacks with your looks and my money. We're going places, baby.
Woo! Yeah. You just got to make sure that you don't use Mark's dad jokes.
Oh, man, Mark.
Wow.
John Allen Rabelais had a lame joke. I didn't see the end of it.
Wow. Yeah.
But you know what? We're
dad
happy.
Jokes will work for dads. Okay?
Dads work for dad. That's right. And on this show. But, you're looking at, mostly now you're looking at teams. You're looking at teams of people that do things because companies got wise about 15 to 20 years ago and started laying people off. Did I say what? Anyway, so we got teams doing stuff. So what's it going to look like if I put Sebastian in my team? Is he going to be a person in that team that they're going to look forward to having there, or is he going to be a know-it-all and everybody want him to go home?
I think if you put Sebastian in a team of 15 like that, okay, he's going to stick out. He's going to stand out.
Yeah.
But he's going to also be one of the most valuable assets to the team. He's going to bring everybody. He's going to make everybody laugh. But he is definitely going to be the standout for sure.
Yeah. He's going to be that added one. Absolutely.
You got to be. Hey, listen, some people light up a room when they walk into it.
Yeah.
Some people light it up when they walk out of it.
Ooh.
Oh, dude.
There you go.
Wait a minute.
That's a mic
now,
drop.
That's money right there.
That is. That's
I like
pretty
money,
good.
but not do the mic. Okay, I'll drop
all
two
right.
mics.
So we haven't even talked about podcasting or any of that stuff yet.
You guys look like you're on like some 3-day ministry bender over there. You got Mountain Dew bottles. You got fake money. There's probably a couple Bibles laying around.
Yeah, man.
See, they marked through this money. This is a good. This is a hun. Y'all notice that's a hun.
Oh, I
It's
thought
a
that was a
good one.
pizza.
Not
That's
really.
a
We're
donut.
just
I was like,
kidding.
you all got a big pizza.
Yeah, this is a donut, man. Let me hold on.
That big donut.
The guests don't understand. They just don't.
Tell
Guests
them
come
what's
on.
up with the donuts, Trevor. Tell
All
them
right,
tell them why we do that.
So Sebastian, whenever the job seekers land a job, back in the day pre-COVID, at all our networking groups, they would bring donuts and they would come and they would tell their story. So if you walked into one of these churches and you saw donuts were out, that means somebody landed a job.
Somebody landed a job,
right?
Yeah.
So you're like excited about that. You're like, oh, somebody landed, and then they would tell their story, right? And then we got crazy and we had fun with the cash flow.
Cash flow.
It's all about donuts and dollars. Okay, it's about donuts and dollars. So that's kind of what all this represents. But let's talk about podcasting. Okay, enough about us. Let's talk about you.
Let's get to it. Yeah.
All right.
And I just wanted one more point. Anytime I walk into a church and there's donuts and a cash machine, I'm in.
You're
Hallelujah.
in?
Let's go.
You're like,
That's your church home.
Session, both hands in the air. It makes you more of a Christian. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, so let's talk about podcasting. All right, so you're a podcast expert. That's what you do. You help people get online to
help them figure it out,
to get their voice heard, to get their story heard. Right. We were talking earlier before you came on the show about the importance of job seekers having a podcast.
Yeah, think about that.
What do you think about that? What are your thoughts around job seekers having their own podcast?
And have you helped a job seeker come up with a podcast?
I have not yet.
Oh, we do. We got to change that. We got to get this. We got to get that.
Well, you heard him say yet. That means he's gonna.
Yet.
All right, go ahead.
If I had to apply for a job today, and that's probably never going to happen, God willing, but in the event that I did, I would be doing everything possible to make sure that I'm standing out. You've got to understand, job seekers, if you have a resume and you're submitting it and you're sending it out and you're connecting with recruiters and you think you're sending nice messages and emojis and making them feel warm and fuzzy, it simply is not enough. Chances are your resume is on the bottom of the stack, let alone even on anywhere remotely close to the top of the stack. So there's got to be something that allows you to differentiate yourself.
Right.
And motivate people to say, you know what, this individual is different. So I would start a podcast and say, I'm looking for a job podcast with your host, Sebastian Rusk. And I'd start interviewing people within an organization that I want to go to work for. Because if I can make Betty in marketing happy, or Jim over in accounts receivable, or a CTO happy, he's going to go sing my praises internally and say, hey, listen, I had this crazy nut on a podcast the other day.
But he knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's talking about, and he would be a phenomenal candidate. And I would like to officially recommend this individual here. You got to see his TikTok. It's absolutely hysterical. The guy goes through all of the downsides of going and getting a job, and really has made it funny. He's made extracted some comedy out of this less than pleasurable experience we like to call finding a job. So
I love that. Your journey. You're documenting your journey and taking it into a way, into the way that people are doing business nowadays. I mean, listen.
Meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
That's right.
Doing it the wrong way. If you are faxing your resume anywhere, your program is broken. You got to be able to, you got to go through the normal protocol. I get all that, but there's also got to be a better way. I mean, we have the internet at our fingertips. We have answers to everything at our fingertips. If we want to go to work for Hershey Chocolate, we can type in Hershey Chocolate in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it's going to give us every single person that's connected to us that works at Hershey. So it's a friend of a friend. It's 6 degrees of separation here, in which we can go through those chains and get to these people.
Yeah, and imagine you could send in an episode to Hershey that you already had with one of Hershey's employees.
Correct.
Right. Okay, let's say you're in HR and you want to be in HR at Hershey, and you interviewed someone else that is HR at Hershey.
Correct.
All right, and you just chopping it up about being in HR and what the challenges are and the struggles are and what it's like to do it over there at Hershey. And then next thing you know, you apply and you send in your podcast episode.
Well, you get done with the interview, you're chopping it up with the person you interviewed, and you're like, hey, listen, I don't know if you can, I don't know what pull or what you can do for me, but you don't know unless you ask. Would you be willing to get my resume in front of the right people? I would love to join your team. I know all about your culture. I talk about brands that are up to really cool stuff. You know, sometimes you're not able to get in and get that access to interview somebody. Yep. That's cool. Hit record and record a podcast episode on why Hershey chocolate bars are your absolute favorite chocolate bar on the planet. Woo! And how chocolate bars and what chocolate bars and the job search have in common, and just figure it out and make it up and get creative with that process on there. But that's what people are looking for. I remember a story I got told about 5 years ago at a gig I did in Atlanta. This individual ran an ad agency, and he was going to work for another ad agency. And before he went and got the job, there were several other candidates. And the guy said, listen, let me level with you. I'm getting married in February. If I can get my marriage, or I'm proposing to my wife in February, if I can get my marriage proposal video to get 1 million views, I get the job. Fair enough. If I don't, I'll send you 5 qualified candidates. And sure enough, it ended up getting over 1 million views and went viral. Wow. But I remember thinking, what a great way to be able to stand out of the noise on there. Now, we're living in an interesting time where nobody wants to go to work, so people are looking for talent. Even more of a reason to make sure that your A game is on with creating content and getting in front of people, because people are a little more open, I would say. I'm not in the job search and recruiting market, but based on how life in the world has operated for the past 16 months, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that people are thinking a little differently, and they're thinking a little more open, and even more of a reason to come up with some crazy idea to be able to say, listen, if you want to attract the masses and job seekers, the masses for you right now are the employers, the people that are thumbing through resumes. Right. So if you want to attract the masses, you've got to go where the masses are at and redirect them to where you want them to be. Well, the only way you're going to be able to do that is through content.
Yeah, through content. And what I was going to say is, since COVID, like, how many new, do you know the stats, like how many new podcasts were created since then? Because I know it was another form, like businesses, all these businesses that have been waiting and thinking about a podcast. They're like, I don't know, maybe we should do it. Maybe we should do it. No, it's like everybody got a podcast now. So let me ask you that. How, like, what are the stats on that? Do you know?
Yeah, I do. So at the end of last year, we covered right around 1 million podcasts.
Okay.
And you might think, oh my gosh, 1 million podcasts, that's a lot of people. I don't know if I want to jump in that mix. You absolutely do. Let's look at how many people are on the planet. Number one. Number two.
Hey, we're 1 in 1 million.
We're 1 in 1 million.
You like that?
Right.
We're 1 in 1 million.
We are all children of God and beautifully made. So yes. You've got to remember that out of that 1 million podcasts at the end of the year, about 250,000 dropped off. About 150,000 dropped off. So we ended the year right at around 850,000. Now, if we look at that in comparison to YouTube, YouTube has 15 million creators. That's 15 million YouTube channels of people creating content. That is a lot of noise, and it's twice the work to be able to go do a podcast. So if we're looking, let's just call it 1 million podcasts, maybe 1.2 million right now. Okay. We'll finish at the end of the year. It'll be interesting to see where those numbers are at. We are dealing with a technology that is 2 decades old. Podcasting started in late 2003. Not a lot of people know that. Podcasting was designed to be played on an iPod, hence the word pod.
Yeah, that's true.
And it had a little bit of steam right when it launched back then, when the iPods were starting to get popular, and then started to fade a little bit. And then around 2008, 2009, got another surge because that podcast about the serial killer called Serial really got people plugged in. And then that podcast ended up allowing that individual's case to be overturned, because he was wrongly accused based on the entire case on where it was at. People were like, wait a second, not only is this like true crime, I love this stuff, but it's also something that's overturned and changed someone's life because of technology. So if we look at where we're at now, it's replaced radio as we know it. No one is rushing to their car to get in and listen to the FM dial and have another DJ talk over their favorite song that they play over and over again with an irrelevant ad about a car dealership you will probably never go into. Those days have completely sailed. The days that have arrived are Apple Car, sitting down on a plane, train, automobile, and there being a screen in front of you, being able to log in, having all of your preferences pop up directly in front of you, and moving on with your day, creating a less frictionless environment, which is what we want. I mean, why turn on the lights when you can say, Alexa, turn on the lights? I mean, like some kind of animal. So life is becoming easier and easier and easier with technology. The only question is, are you making your business and your storytelling and your content capabilities easier because you're taking advantage of it? And I just believe that podcasting is your new radio show.
It is easier. As a recruiter, So here's the deal. Trevor teaches people how to make videos and how to stand out from the crowd. And just making a simple video right now is still quite a bit differentiated from what everybody else is doing. I've been a recruiter for longer than I'm going to tell y'all I've been a recruiter. But when I first started recruiting, probably for the first 20 years of when I started recruiting, we're doing the same thing. Send a resume, send this piece of paper, all this kind of thing. When we really wanted to meet that person, we wanted to really meet Trevor, see what his personality was, see if I felt comfortable about. If I hired Trevor, would I be comfortable with putting him in my team, all that kind of stuff. And Trevor teaches people how to do that. And we're talking about podcast. I love the idea of a podcast. That's an extension past what we're looking at. Simple as making a video to tell people what you do. They get a chance to feel what you have to present.
The human element.
Yeah,
it's putting the human element back in.
That's it right there.
It's putting the human element back in. It's making you a human, and it's also marketing. So let's talk about that, because you do an episode, okay? So like this episode right here, what's an hour long, okay? What can I now do with that hour-long episode? Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. You can take that and you can chop that up into micro videos. So you can have those little square 1x1 videos for LinkedIn and for Instagram and for all social platforms. You can create Instagram Reels. You can create Instagram Stories. You can create Facebook content. There's a plethora of stuff that you can do to chop up that content. You can transcribe the episode and turn it into a blog post. There's about, I would say, there's an endless number of things that you can do with repurposing content. The main things are, let's just say that you record the podcast episode and you go live. Okay, we got a podcast episode, we got go live. Then we take the archive and chop it into micro videos. Then we take the audio and chop it into audiograms. Then we go over to Canva and we make some images. We transcribe it over on otter.ai and turn it into a blog post. And then we've got, fill in the blank for the remaining 8 or 9 or 10 options
it's
of
endless.
repurposing for one episode that you're recording on here. And it's easier, and you're probably thinking, yeah, Sebastian, sounds great and everything, but how in the world do I do that? You find someone that can get it done, or you research the tools that help you actually get it done, and you figure it out, or you just don't do it. Those are your two options. So it's not, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough resources. It's never about resources. It's about resourcefulness.
Ooh.
Trevor does that here for this show.
Ooh, it's about resourcefulness. Woo! Well, let's talk about that. Hold on. Because we do talk a lot about the cash flow, and these job seekers are in a scarcity mindset because this has run out, right? Their cash flow has run out, their income stream anyways. And so, again, the scarcity mindset. So this is on the top of their mind all the time. But there are ways to do it on a budget, right? There are ways to do it on a budget. So what would you recommend to somebody who's like, I don't know, just to get started? Just like, hey, I got to get this podcast. I don't have a lot of money. What do I do to I got to go. Let's do this.
Let's get it started.
Well, for starters, you're unemployed. Okay. And if you are employed, then you're looking for a job, you might have a little less time. But if you're unemployed and you're looking for a job, you got nothing else better to do than to figure it out. So you might as well leverage your time to be able to go in and figure this out. Now, if you're you must be a do-it-yourselfer, because if it's Top Ramen or a podcast editor, you're going Top Ramen all day. And I get it. I understand the practicality behind all of that. But you've also got to realize, regarding that scarcity mindset, you have to realize that your belief system, you're believing exactly what you deserve this lesson took me a long time to be able to learn. But the scarcity mindset is a decision that you're making to say, I am limited with my resources. I am limited with my income. If you look in your bank account, and even if you have $6, you have money. So just for a quick little mindset shift real quick, and you may be going through a challenging time, no one's coming to save you. Bailouts don't work. Loans are a bad idea. Credit cards will only take you so far. But shifting your mindset and saying, I have money. My best days are right in front of me. I'm attracting every opportunity that's coming to me. In fact, I'm going to choose the one that's going to make the most sense and completely transform my finances and my entire mindset around money. So you got to get that dialed in first, because everything else is going to be an ongoing disaster if that's not tuned out. And I understand.
That's
dire
faith.
Straits get there.
That's
dire
faith.
Straits.
You know what you're speaking? You're speaking faith, right? You're speaking faith, because guess what? Listen, humanity, like you said, humanity's not going to save you, right? The government's not going to save you. Nobody's going to come save you. There's only one Savior, only one, right? And he's been the provider this entire time, okay? He's been the one providing your entire life. You think it was your employer or your government or whatever. You think it was them? Oh, you are wrong, okay? You are so wrong. So what you're talking about is faith, and I love that. You're having faith that God is going to provide, and listen, and at the right time, a little extra is going to show up right when it needs to.
God even said we have to have a renewing of our mind. So that's a change, isn't it?
Yeah.
So here's some harsh truth, and this may sting for a few people. And if it
good, bring it on.
Good, because you need to hear it. Some things don't need prayer; they need discipline. God already told you what to do. You're just procrastinating.
Booyah!
Woo, preach! You just gotta get out there and do it.
That's the reality. You're not going to pray your way out of this. You're just not. God's sitting there going, cool. I heard you loud and clear. Now what are you going to do?
Now what you going to do? I opened the door for you. You got to walk through it.
Well, because he already knows what we need anyway.
Yeah.
You know, when we had Tim Story on the show, he talked about miracle in, miracle out, right? So miracle in is you're praying for a miracle into something, that next best season of your life, right? Like, hey, that, you know, a miracle out is you're praying like, Lord, you know, get me out of this. Bail me out, right? Like I messed up. Can you save me? Like miracles in, miracles out, right?
Sure.
But I love what you're talking about is because he already knows the path that he's set.
Yeah.
And he knows what we need before we need it.
He opens the door and orchestrates it for us. We can't see because we don't know nothing. We ain't spent no time on the word. And so we sit there like a dummy.
How quickly we forget all of the promises when things get hectic and things become what appears to be scarcity on there. But 9 times out of 10, it's just waiting for us to move and do something that's going to position us, that's going to allow us to position ourselves better so that all of that shifts and change on there. But once you got all that resolved, which we've only got a lifetime to figure it out, but the sooner the better, especially when you're finding a job, there's a lot of freedom on the other side of shifting that mindset to realize that I was talking to our good friend, Breakfast with Champions friend, Joy Farley on the show the other day. And she said, Sebastian, I got to say that I've lived an entire life full of favor, not just living a favorable life, but a life of favor where favor not just follows me, but favor tracks me down. And I was like, let's go. That's tough to argue with right there, with living a life where favor follows you and favor, she said, I'll take it a step further and say favor tracks me down. But to that point, favor ain't fair. So you got to remember that, because that's another kicker within the mindset space when it's in that scarcity space that everybody seems to be, you know, doing great. And you're sitting here wondering if it's top ramen or mac and cheese again. But usually 9 times out of 10, it's all our fault.
Wow.
All right.
Listen, Sebastian, this has been an amazing episode. It really has. We've had just a bunch of mic drop moments, and we didn't get to near enough of what I wanted to cover. But listen, I really appreciate you, and you have something that you would like to give to the audience as well. So here's what we're going to do. Let me see who we got with us. I see Kellyanne Thomas. I see Andrea Waters. Hope Mangita, good to see you here with us. Mark Short, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Here's a question that is it's an interesting one, and hopefully the audience can. Yeah. What's the name? I don't know if we talked about it. Hold on. What's the name of his book? Or hold on, it's actually the same name that you will see on the t-shirt that he wears in the thumbnail. So if you looked at the thumbnail of this episode, you would have seen it. We haven't necessarily talked about it until this second, but there's a phrase that he uses.
Yep.
And if you can tell me down there in the chat, we're going to give some stuff away. And while we're waiting on the answer, also I want you to take that screenshot, right? Tell him how much you appreciate him for joining us on the show.
Right.
Hey, Sebastian, what's one thing that could take your business to the next level? I want to know that. What's one thing that could really help you catapult your business to that next level?
identifying new people that understand the value of being able to start a podcast and knowing that the natural next step is for them to start a podcast, but they don't have the time, nor do they want to take the time to go and figure it out. And they know the power of being able to hire an expert to get them to the finish line. And that's what we're doing here at the Podcast Launch Lab, helping folks go from idea to iTunes in 90 days or less by starting a podcast, to connect with more people and to make a bigger impact. So if that's you, I'd love to connect with you further. All of my links are available on my Instagram link tree, including a free masterclass. If you want to get off this interview right now and say, hey, you know what, I'm ready to do this and I want to roll my sleeves up and figure it out, you can take my free masterclass.
Wait, hold on, man. You're giving away the secret sauce, man. Hold on, man. Hold on.
That was the show before the show.
Yeah, man, you're giving it all away, man. Hold on, wait a minute. So we had a winner here. We had a winner chicken dinner, and that was Tanisha DeWint, and she says podcasting sucks. So that's our winner today.
Close. Oh. Jeopardy, you would have not qualified for.
Oh, well, what's the official? What's the official?
Yeah, what's the official? Would be podcasts suck.
Oh, plural. So that would be Mark Short. Congratulations, Mark Short.
Mark Short.
But guess what? Not only do you get access to that master course, he's actually giving it to everyone. Everybody, you get a master course.
I get a master course.
And you get a master course. Wow. You all get master courses. So how do we get access to the master course? Where do they go?
So the masterclass and links to everything, links to my book, my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is a wealth of information on how to start a podcast. So if you take the masterclass, you pick up a copy of my book and not just read the book, but actually do what it says.
Do what it says.
Go over to my YouTube channel. You're going to have all of the resources and knowledge that you need to start a podcast. And I want to hear from you. If you're able to take advantage of any of those resources because they resonate with you, hit me up and keep me posted on your progress. I want to know how things are going.
Love it.
Guys, that's Sebastian Rusk, R-U-S-K.
Yes, and make sure you take that screenshot right now and post it all over social media. Blow him up. Hit him up in the DMs. Let him know, how much you love him and appreciate him on the Who You Know show. This is your content for the week. Make sure you go ahead and take that screenshot now. Post it. Now. Let's go. Sebastian, I really appreciate you being here on the show. Any last words before we go?
Yes, there is a giant calling on all of our lives. And part of that calling is people that are assigned to us. And there's no question on whether or not there's a calling on our life. That calling is there because each of us have it. The only question is, are you going to answer that calling? Because people are waiting for you to show up in this world, whether it's through a job, through its content, through starting a business, doing that thing. Remember, time, it's the only thing they're not making more of in this lifetime here. So do that thing.
Love it. Hey, you do your thing tonight. I know this is your debut on the stage doing comedy, so go crush it, my friend.
I'm going to ask how it went.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to know.
Yeah,
good. Sure.
All right, guys.
Keep your cell phone on in case you get a collect call. You know the show didn't go.
Oh, wow. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know.
People with money.
Bye. Trevor Houston here, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. We hope you've been inspired, encouraged, educated, and entertained all at the same time. For information on our different events, workshops, partners, or partnership opportunities available, check out whoyouknow.show for more details. And be on the lookout for our new mobile app coming soon. You never know how this show can help someone you know. And if we've made an impact or put a smile on your face today, don't forget to hit that share button on your way out. Until next week, it's all about who you know. Bye.
Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead.